We're taking over the airwaves, St. Louis. So step out of your safe space and polish up that foil hat.
I have certain rules I live by. My first rule, I don't believe anything the government tells me.
It's Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Your deprogramming begins now.
Man cannot fall and be redeemed without the dimension of human freedom. Only the free can be guilty, because only the free are responsible for what they do.
Well, hello, Steve.
Hi, Craig.
Seth, how are you, sir?
Fine and flotatious.
Flotatious.
I'm changing my name to flotatious. That's my new.
like that.
That's my new word for a day after a good old fashioned float that you
How you
guys
feeling,
didn't show
bro?
up to.
Feeling flotatious, bro.
That's cool.
I like it.
You know who else is in the building?
Integrity.
Oh gosh.
I got him.
Integrity
I
in the
got him.
Is this a new game? Like you try to catch him off guard because that's.
Yep.
He was asking for an itinerary, so I was like, "Oh, he must be all rip roaring ready to go." Guess not. Guess not. Integrity. I love that guy more than life itself. How's everybody doing tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen,
great.
non-binaries, welcome to Hoosier Sophisticate
Hi.
here on WGNU 920 AM. You can stream us live at WGNU920am.com. We're live on Facebook in our Sophisticated Hoosiers group. If you haven't joined the page, follow along. It's a lot of fun. It's a little weird. It might be a sex cult. Entirely possible.
And it might not be.
The world may never
We got
know.
T-shirts coming.
We do.
We do. Everybody, we haven't forgotten
Eventually.
about you. I wanted to mention that.
We have no money from you. I forgot about you a long time
Yeah,
ago.
you haven't paid anything yet, so we're just. It's whenever you're on our schedule now.
What's been going on with you guys this week?
Oh man. Well, we have some awesome drinks in studio right now.
There's a
And
purpose.
what's the purpose, Seth?
We have strawberry vests. St. Louis Live left us. They started their new adventure. It kicked off Monday, February 18th, last Monday. We Are Live Radio, their new podcast, their new video podcast.
47 grams of sugar in this thing.
That's a lot.
That's what we needed Steve to get in.
So we are finishing off the rest of the vests that I found in the storage room that they left behind. I don't know what's going to happen if we drink this. It's kind of old.
It's happening right now.
Steve's already got half the can down. He's
It's
like,
happening right now,
But
everybody.
hey, real quick, a cheers to those guys.
cheers.
I love We Are
Cheers
Live.
to the We Are Live fellas.
You've seen me share
And
their
tag
stuff.
Inman in whatever we're doing.
I shared their show into our group a few times, just trying to help those poor souls out.
No
Just
doubt.
Trying to
No
throw
doubt.
them a bone.
Integrity, would you like a strawberry vest?
All
right, I got one
Get him
more.
one. Get him a strawberry.
Hey, what's
How
the
did
kid
you-
needs? The kid need a strawberry vest. Give him a strawberry vest. Take care of my guy.
Why wouldn't he just offer him one in the first place?
Seemed a little weird.
A little weird.
Seems a little rude.
But they've been going to a full Facebook stream, it seems like, and
I like
maybe
it.
uploading the audio content onto all podcast platforms, like Condescending Craig says.
I mean,
Just
it's
be
out
better.
there. There are ways to consume.
Why not
Uh,
Spotify? You don't like Spotify anymore?
I won't talk about it.
Really? Because you haven't even told. I don't even think you told me.
No, it's fine.
I don't want to.
Basically, I think for us to move forward with Spotify, like a lot of the stuff, like the first 6 months of our show wouldn't be able to air on there.
that's fine.
So
It was terrible. It was trash anyway.
it's garbage.
It was all garbage. But they're going to a full Facebook live situation. I love the stream. You
I do
know
too.
me with the stream deck and
I
the
do too.
OBS and all that. I even put on their Facebook live chat. I was like, oh, Gardner, one heck of a producer, man.
Why?
Seth, I'm one heck.
Hey, a lot of-
guy.
I'll give credit where it's due. A lot of what you see, I learned from watching some of the
Really?
best. Chris Gardner among the best, I do feel. But don't you crack up a little when he like pops up
It's hilarious.
in his little square?
He's great at being like, and look at the camera. And
No
I'm
one's
he
like,
gets it,
yeah,
man.
it's funny.
Travis is funnier too. Visual. He's a great visual artist.
I agree.
Like I like the show better. The one problem I noticed that I was having, and maybe some of the fans of the show too, was it's hard to navigate the rest of your phone while you're doing a Facebook Live. And maybe some of our listeners
something-
probably feel the same way.
That is feedback that they got, and like they're totally responding to. And I feel like it was a learning experience for us too. We're trying to figure out how to make this show easy to listen to while you're doing other things. Like if it requires a window being open all the time, or that makes it tough. That's why the podcast is sweet. You can put it on, you can go about doing your day, whatever. It plays in the background.
We talk about Game of Thrones all the time. Radio would be on the side of the White Walkers. It's dead. It's been dead a long time. It's getting a small rise.
It's got an ice dragon, dude.
Thank you. Okay, that's radio for you.
It's ice dragons.
It's ice dragons. Okay,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
gone.
Ice dragons.
It's a good.
They got dwarves and elves and ice dragons.
Imagine those dragons.
Oh, don't give him a rim shot. Don't do it.
Actually, please.
No.
Give me a rim something.
But no, I was the show's funny.
You dog.
Yes.
They are kind of like the comedy guys in St. Louis. They have all the best. Jim Brewer is on the show.
No doubt. If
Some of the
you
coolest
want to
stuff
be
ever.
tuned into what's going on in the local comedy scene, as well as the big comics coming through town, that's the place. That's the place. If I'm in St. Louis and I want to know what's up on the comedy scene, I'm going to go there. But tonight, if I'm sitting around on Friday night wondering what's going on with the comedy scene, I'm going to stick around for Hoosier Sophisticate and listen to Max Price. He's coming in the second hour.
That
He's a local
segue
comedian.
was flawless.
He's a local comedian.
He's hilarious.
I have it's
Cool
cool that he's
dude.
coming around. He got added to the group last week against his will, and he's
like most
playing
people,
ball.
like
Yeah,
90%.
he's playing ball. There may be a bit of Stockholm syndrome involved
That's
here.
all right.
At 6:30, our buddy from the old changing station, Steve, from your brainchild,
Mhm.
the changing station. We had probably
Your firstborn.
If I may go so far as saying maybe the best show that we ever did included our first guest, Kyle Reese. We did a fantasy baseball talk show that was setting the world on fire.
That was pretty good. Not as good as Joey Hambones breaking down who the top 10 fantasy
Whatever
draft
Google-
picks might be.
Whatever Google has.
He's like Bryce Harper might be. You're looking
Mike
at one.
Mike Trout's probably a
Trout-
good pick.
Trout's
Really, I would
there.
have never guessed Bryce
Oh my
Harper would
God,
be in that
dude.
conversation.
And if you're not checking out Joe and
hot
Wags,
takes.
Joe and Wags,
Crunch time with Joe and Wags.
that's a great show. Mondays, I never miss it. I don't think Seth ever misses it too.
I
He's
can't-
on there talking
I
about
actually-
the Chiefs. I'm talking about just I get them just to fight each other. It's like being
That's
a kid
my
again.
goal. Yeah,
It's being
I
a
want to
kid
see
again.
it.
I'm like, I'm going to tear my parents apart.
I actually don't watch the feeds, but what I do watch are my notifications between you two constantly commenting on the feed. So I only get like the first 5 words of each of your comments,
That's
but
good.
I'm kind of watching it
That's all
go
you
along. No, absolutely. Believe me,
That's
I get
all
it.
you need.
Give me 5 words, babe.
But yeah, so I mean, we're trying new things. We'd love the feedback.
Please, all
how-
the constructive criticism.
I mean, I do this for fun, okay, people. So everyone who's like, "Hey, try this," I'm probably not going to listen, okay, because I just do this myself. Like Craig said, this is my brainchild.
No. The changing station was your brain.
Changing Stale, it was my brainchild, and the whole deal with that too. Craig, I re-listened to an episode, and he barely talked. He was just like a meek
I know.
little. sheep.
Really, I can't.
I know. I want to pull some clips
I know.
because in that one of the shows where it was after the Timberfake fight, 590 thing, he goes, "Hey man, it's your show. I don't know, it's your show." And he stopped talking and said that. And I was
What'd you have before
"What?
the show, Craig?
What happened?"
Well, so Steve had this.
What?
He had this trick, and if you
you know-
guys ever feel I need to be more subdued, the trick is to have a radio show at 11 p.m. in the furthest west and north part of St. Louis you could possibly.
I was
get to.
invited
I
on
drive
your.
an
How
hour
many
and a
times
half.
was I invited on your show?
6,
How many times did I show up?
0.
Back to what Craig was saying.
Yeah, it's so far.
I made the journey. I knew every and God
I'll
bless
just
my
call
family,
in
my
and-
fiance, my kids.
God bless you, man. You're in
No.
it to win it.
No,
Like,
we
you
had
are.
we had
You're
we
my
had
guy,
we
dude.
had a good go, man. I listened to the entire Timberfake fight.
So
I had time listening, driving from Hillsboro,
the whole
getting
thing.
on to 270 from Tesson Ferry from 21. I'm driving 270 to go all the way out to St. Charles. The fight started, or the coverage started as I was turning on the highway. As I'm pulling in the parking lot, the actual fight began. Like it was just Larry Nickel and Iggy
Oh, yeah, they
talking
had
for
great
45
commentary.
minutes.
It looked like the home loan expert Ryan Kelly's going to punch out Timberfake in the face with the boxing.
Larry
glove.
Nickel here.
That is a
He did.
spot on,
He
Larry
punched him
Nickel.
in the face. And then back to you, Iggy. I like golf and porn stars. I
think
got
we
punched
just-
again, and
I
that,
think
that
we-
was the whole fight.
We
I
may
turned it-
have just inflamed the radio.
Hey, why did we
bring it on.
Why did we get
I love it.
chastised? We didn't get kicked off the radio, but what were we doing that they were not happy with over
Well,
there?
it was
Can I-
it was
can I
a couple, it was
interrupt?
actually a couple of years ago, and
not say that.
we were talking about cannabidiol. We were
Yeah.
talking about
Okay.
how CBD was helping families.
Yeah, you're fine. But I was going to say, wasn't there something about a certain percentage of your content had to cover sports?
Yes,
There
they
was-
were
yeah.
switching to
There was kind of a
sports.
Because
blanket-
what I would do if I brokered timeout to people is I'd hire a program director. This is sarcasm, by the way. You don't, if you broker timeout, you don't have a program director. It's
Exactly.
like having a waiter at a buffet.
Man, you guys getting the
Oh.
scoop on the AM
Wow.
radio scene. Like,
Wow.
This is getting gnarly.
This is, dude, we've started like 3 wars in the past 5
Let's do
minutes.
it.
Listen,
Let's
so
do it.
no, but
We are live
ultimately
too
what it
now.
came down to is we were talking about stuff
Nothing
that
better
really
than Mary
wasn't.
Nothel WWE Monday Night Raw.
I can't anymore.
I'm done. I don't
But
care.
yeah,
Come
CBD,
At, come
they-
at me, brah.
I just shout out to Cooley Vapes too.
Shout out to everybody that made it possible,
Rose
including
Extermination.
the thousands of you that are tuning in right now.
Let's not talk about our sponsors that sponsor this show. Let's talk about the changing station sponsors. Want to?
Yeah, sure.
Because Missouri Medical Cannabis Company, I was talking about, we got kicked off for talking about CBD.
That was the deal.
We didn't. They suggested
We didn't get kicked
that
off.
we wouldn't.
They
talk
wanted
about
they
that.
wanted the change in content, and for us, it was like, well, could we do that? We could chat sports, give hot takes, and have.
We're gonna
fun
do it
with
tonight.
We're gonna do it tonight. We're gonna have some fun. But that's the thing. That's what I was gonna say about Kyle. Is I have lost so much of my my time to talking about sports, and having a guy like him in, he's got a great personality, and he's loaded with the stats. Well, he's your buddy. You can say that. I think he's great.
Yeah,
I think he's great. I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah,
he puts on a good show.
He's one of the best.
No,
He is.
solid dude. Writes a column on Birds on the Black, I believe is his website.
Nice following.
If you guys
on
want
Twitter.
to follow a great Twitter, check out Birds on the Black. Kyle Reese is
Reese 314. I'll check that out.
give me his Twitter handle if you
will.
would.
I will.
Um,
right now.
He's gonna come in here and he's gonna break it down. He's gonna tell you why you should be excited about this Cardinal season coming up. I'm excited. Baseball's still that thing for me, man. We talked about it a little bit as a thing I love last week. At Kyler, Kyler 416. So that's our boy Kyle Reese.
Yeah.
He's a great baseball follow.
We're gonna find out some prospects.
Who was the prospect a couple of years ago? He asked John Mozeliak. It was the one that ended up with the White Sox. But you'll remember we had a lot of international pool money. And he was like, I can't miss Cuban defector. Do you know who I'm talking about?
White Sox?
And I feel like that's where he ended up. Like we got outbid by them.
They had a couple of them because they got that guy who plays first base for them.
No.
You're not talking about old boy. He's a Cuban, I think.
Doesn't matter. The point is he was talking about
I
this
will know.
on our show. And 4 months later, first off, when he asked Mozeliak was like,
I know.
oh, this guy
Yeah.
knows about
I
so-and-so. Like he's just,
And
he's
here's
in
the
depth.
deal. Yeah,
he's
no,
in depth. He gets it.
He gets the scoop. I was just going to say that
I'm
because
sorry.
he watches. No, don't ever apologize to me.
I'm sorry.
Don't. But he follows a lot of like 14 to 16-year-old boys that are really muscular, play ball. He goes to their high schools, goes to their grade schools, checks them out at the ball games, talks to their parents, single parents usually a lot of the times. And he just kind of, wraps his big arms around them, shows them the path through life. So that's why he's got such a good read on all these, post-pubescent boys that are coming up through farm systems.
I'm gonna let that
Kyle
breathe.
Reese. Kyle Reese. Welcome, Kyle Reese. Who's
Listen,
our other guys?
Missouri Medical Cannabis Company. They make this whole.
Oh, yeah,
thing
we're talking
possible.
about CBD.
They're
great.
We were talking about that, and it was ultimately, hey, you guys are a little bit on the fringe. There was actually another great show that was on before us, the Brothers on Whatever, and they had all kinds of goofy, silly content and great guests. Like I always loved sitting in the little outside room of the studio and just seeing who they had to talk into. Remember they had the
Oh yeah, they
the
were
sex
great.
toy enthusiast, the alien, like it was just everything. It was all over
Well,
the
the
place.
We Are Live boys, they started 590, kind of did the 1380 thing, and now they're doing the
Well,
Facebook
and
thing.
you're kind of in that coaching tree, right? I mean,
Totally. I interned for them for a minute. They just treated me like Robert Kraft treats a massage parlor. We'll put it that way. Bada bing, bada boom. Am I right? But I memed the crap out of Denman. Denman's actually tuning in right now. I turned him into Samuel Tarley. And we got some big news
Hey,
for all
Denman,
of our,
did you catch that vest toast at the beginning of the show?
don't directly talk to him during
Ever
the
again.
show. Jeez Louise, we don't talk to Chris like at
We don't
him.
actually
do.
acknowledge him.
No, God.
Well, you speak for yourselves, homies.
Okay, you're right. I will. But
You made him a Samuel.
I
Tarly.
make my own decisions, Chris.
You also made a really just terrific one of Seth.
Oh, it's the best one of all time.
We've put together.
Check out our
That
Facebook
damn
page.
picture where
We put together about
Luis Robert.
Luis Robert.
Guess who
This is
texted that in?
Kyle Reese.
Yep.
Thank you, Kyle. Yes.
314-880-0808. Thank you, Kyle.
Hit the text lines. Brought to you by Parlor STL and Tower Classic Tattooing. Sunday is Hoosier Tattoo Day, boys. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on because I am super juiced. I'm ready to see everybody again.
I'm juicy inside.
Our sponsors always take such great care of us. And so we talked about CBD a lot, and it just wasn't their speed. They wanted hot takes. Here's what they wanted, and God love them for it. If you were driving through St. Louis on your way to somewhere else at 11 p.m. and you happened to flip on the station, they were getting sports talk, and they wanted to become a place that people went to for sports talk. And Steve and I go, we got stuff that a lot of people call us weirdos for talking about that we want to talk about. So we went to Steve's basement and we played together for a while. And then
That's hot.
And then Seth,
Yeah,
like
Seth is the guy. A guardian angel.
He
just
just
like
came
a
down.
Gentleman
Yes.
from the night who just comes
Yes.
down over your bed like an uncle.
with like
it was
kind of sticky change and a little bit of like
Yes.
crumpled up
Your favorite
Hard
uncle
candy.
who never got
bills,
married.
a lot of butterscotch.
Yep, hard
candy that hasn't been sold for 50 years,
Yeah.
but he has some of it.
Come here, guys.
Yeah.
Don't you-
No, I ran into Craig. It was the day after Thanksgiving. I saw him at the Gramophone. Great sandwiches on this
You did
unofficial
indeed.
sponsor.
We-
Yeah,
we
and
had
I was like,
mentioned
hey, I need to get a hold of you and Steve because I got some ideas, and I'm cooking it up.
And I
Why
was
does
like,
everyone reach out to Craig now?
well,
like-
I'm just more approachable.
It's weird.
You
You're
weren't.
not.
You were
I'm
literally
really not.
weren't with him.
I'm really
when he
not
was
like
sitting
guys,
there.
Take a clue with the condescending Craig.
People
Take
want your
a clue.
validation.
Why is that? I am
I don't know.
nobody.
It's
I am
stupid.
nobody.
Is
A man has no.
I don't
eyes.
get it, man. But am I doing good?
You're doing great.
All right, thank you. But yeah, we got some big works for all you Missouri Medical Cannabis Company Hoosier Sophisticate fans out there because we got a whole we were on the phone for 2 hours last night
We were with our ladies.
lovely
With our
wives and
ladies.
betrothed
Yes.
and lovers and friends. And we came up with
Tell me again. Tell me again. If we'll be lovers and friends.
I've never heard that song before. I just went with you.
You've never get out of here.
I
You've
probably
heard
have. You
Usher.
sang it.
You've heard Usher sing "Lovers
Usher?
and Friends."
I probably have. I
You have.
couldn't tell that's what
You
it
have.
was though
I
when
know.
you were
Well, I
singing it.
took it very Caucasian.
Well, I was
I
thinking.
went really far into the almost albino spectrum.
Here's the deal. How can we be lovers if we can't be friends? How can we start over when the fighting never ends? Oh, baby. Michael Bolton.
Oh, okay.
God. Oh, man.
I
Michael Bolton.
yeah, I got it. You know, I like.
I
really
thought he was
sat
cool
down.
before everybody else thought he was cool.
Did you? You
I
were
did.
like the original
My
hip
mom
Michael Bolton
loved it.
hipster.
Yes. My mom loved him. And I always saw big things.
My
from him.
mom's jam was Lionel Richie. I remember having the vinyl dancing on the
Dance
ceiling. And man, that was that's the first song I remember just boogieing to as a kid.
You cannot like Lionel.
Oh, what a feeling. You know, like I'm just like getting it. You know?
Yeah, I expect
Yeah.
you to move right
For
now.
sure. Just thinking
it.
about it.
But we have a big Game of Thrones thing. I hope everyone, if you're not into Thrones, get into Thrones. Seth,
Here's what you can do to become a part of it. You can take a selfie.
Watch it.
You can take a selfie and you can email it to HoosierSophisticate@gmail.com.
yeah, do that.
And if you do that, just a little old selfie, get your hair out of your face.
Hey, you know, we haven't seen in a while.
It's Integrity Smile! Hey, Integrity Smile!
It's been a solid month.
Integrity's mom in the building.
Yeah.
She brought us food.
All right.
I think she just brought him food. I don't think that's for us.
No onions, right? Oh, I like this.
I mean, you can always bring extra.
It's like what I don't get at home.
What were we talking about?
Game of Thrones. We're gonna throw everything at a
No.
Well,
Hey,
here's how
you can
get
message it
into
to
Game
us.
of
You can
Thrones.
message it to Steve or I or Seth.
Selfie.
Send a little selfie in because we got a little game. Right now, we got 52 people on the page that are going to take place in a really fun little thing against their will, just like Max Price coming in here in the second hour.
Oh, yeah, we got Max Price.
You know, Seth, do you know Max personally?
No.
I don't
this is
like
I
even
it.
just
better.
follow the comedy scene. I have a lot of respect for these comics. They really throw themselves out there. I mean, it's a job. These guys work.
I know you guys are always like, "Ooh, bring some of my funny into the show," and it really hurts my feelings because you're constantly trying to like. If it's not Austin Peterson, it's
I'm just
someone
trying to
who's funny.
treble your funny because I think that you are so funny, and I feel like you deserve having other funny people around.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no
That
problem.
made me feel good. Ricky Pennington joining the show. He took me on quite a little experience.
Why don't you
Greg.
tell us a little bit about because Ricky P is one of my guys.
He is a phenomenal gentleman, and I bet I know him better
Veteran?
than you do.
A veteran. Oh, I'd be real careful there.
I know him very intimately in a BJJ sense. So I go up to Finney's. He tells me, "Hey, come up to Finney's. I'll get you in there. We'll roll." I love that. That's what they call it.
Rolling.
I want to do something to get in shape. I watch all these videos of street fights.
You do? Like
All the time. I'll go down the rabbit hole of street fights all the time. I was telling you about that Russian one where that guy was taking a brick to the. Some of them get obscene, and I'm like, that's terrible. I hate to see that look on someone's face. Or if someone gets knocked out, they're just like, bah, bah, bah. They just keep. I'm like, he's knocked out, you psychopath. Like, what? You know,
yeah.
what's wrong with you?
Man, you spend a lot of time in your root, huh?
No one likes to see that a knocked out face getting pummeled. Like in a human, I guess some humans are like, yeah, that's what I'm into. Like, that's great. But even like MMA, they'll take those extra shots. But I wanted to do a little something self-defense-ish.
Sure.
And I figured maybe Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu isn't the best street defense, but actually,
I think it's a great street.
In some of these videos where it's tight quarters and somebody gets a rear naked choke on somebody.
Jiu-Jitsu's great. If somebody's swinging on you and they got the upper hand,
and even if they're big,
you clash with them, you grab them, you wrap up, you learn the very basic.
Takedown.
Very basic
like,
takedown.
That's not a bad
Yeah, you
place
got to
to
get
be.
them to the ground because that's where you're going to be dominant.
I didn't understand. I didn't know. It's great. Everything is.
How'd you
gay
feel the
innuendo.
next day?
I was actually sore all over, and I didn't realize one
You
of
said
the.
that like you're surprised. I was actually sore
Well,
all over.
It was.
How long did you roll for?
We didn't actually roll. We did like fundamentals.
Okay.
So it's a very
Some
basic.
Yeah, I
sprawl,
told
like,
you,
do a lot
you're-
of sprawling
We
and
did
stuff like
15
a lot
minutes.
demonstration.
We did 15 minutes of
that.
Shrimping.
Calisthenics and
dodgeball to open up.
Oh,
where
nice.
you're about 10 feet away from each other. It is
This sounds-
and you're
intense.
sprawling and
completely
hopping and
useless.
jumping and flipping.
Ricky
And
has a.
he's got a hose on him.
Left-handed.
Uh-oh.
So you have to throw left, and I'm like,
Why is he not in the all you need is a pulse in the major leagues with a left arm like that.
no, he's throwing like this.
Oh.
He's backhanding like he would his wife. But he's throwing these things. Just
Seriously, Danielle, get in line.
so he's whipping these things. They're like, okay, switch teams. I'm like, which side is Ricky on? Okay, yeah, I'm on that team. So whoops, I'm just on this team again. And so after that, you're warming up, and then they show you where it's all your legs. Like if someone's on you, it's so tactical, and it's like chess,
Yeah.
and it's using their weaknesses and strengths against them, and using your legs are super powerful. So you don't want to, like, when you want to grab them, you pull that person down with the legs. You don't reach up. It's like conserving energy while you're doing it too. Oh my God. We got a nipple against the glass over there. Kyle is in the building. But I was a little bruised, like in weird places. I was like, that's kind of crazy because you're wrapping up.
Yeah.
And so me and Ricky, I get down, legs spread, full eagle, like, dream position,
Okay.
and he has to mount right in the middle, and I have to wrap my legs around him
Yeah.
and pull him too. And you can feel they show
Sounds
him
like
move.
Dirty Dancing on the log.
We did do one moment where he did lift me. He did lift
yeah.
me in the
yeah,
end.
yeah. That's what you're
That's a
that's the
move.
vibe I'm picking up.
That's a move.
It's the vibe I'm picking up.
But I never understood why MMA guys went to the ground. Some of them would go take their back, like, and just like say, okay, come and get me. And now I was like, oh God, yeah. If you're good at this and you can bend someone's arm back, and it's even the little I learned, you can bend an arm like this way, and the person can get out. But if you change the angle on it a little bit, there's nothing the person
That
can
A lot
do.
to do with controlling like certain points, wrist.
Totally.
Very
and like,
important.
okay,
learn
bend
how to
their
control
arm
a
in.
wrist is one of the
Yeah.
first
Okay,
things
well
you
now
gotta
he's
do.
still got
You
this.
got a little chicken
Well,
wing.
then if you bend it with like this, they're like, oh, now I can't. And if you don't lock your legs behind them, that everyone's rolling out of everything. You'll just
Yep.
consistently be rolling. But like I was thinking, and I think Ricky said something like a lanky guy.
Yeah.
But they love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is pretty funny because some tough guys will go in there.
Yeah.
And they'll just get locked up.
Oh, just get rolled up. Yeah.
And it's funny because there's a couple gals in class, and I'm like, you roll with these gals? Because I went to an all-boys school, and I'm like, I'm married. I can't. And he's like, yeah, they're tough. And I'm like, that's one of the good things. It kind of neutralizes, you're not just out there going, just banging with some dude. Well, you are, but it's different.
Sure. That's
we
awesome,
got a
Shout out
guest
to
in the
Phineas.
building. You guys want to go ahead and knock out a quick break?
Yeah, let's jump
Let's
to
do
a
it.
quick break. Guys, this is Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. We'll catch you on the other side of the break with Kyle Reese. You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has a dream in disguise.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands. A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community. We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full-spectrum hemp oil from MomedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MomedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MomedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it.
I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you.
I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding. Google it.
Root that for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, hoo. Cause we tell all them leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side. James Hardy boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
A diamond is forever. You know what? Fuck that. A tattoo, that's forever. A piece of art that represents something you're passionate about, a loved one, a memory, or maybe just some really cool design you want to be part of your body for life. Stop by Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove and let one of their artists take your idea from your heart, soul, and mind and bring it to your skin. From the drawing table to the application itself, these artists hit a home run in every aspect of tattooing. Any style, any size, color, black and gray, doesn't matter, they got you covered. Got the itch to get inked? Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com. Tower Classic Tattoo, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove.
Hey there, sophisticated Hoosiers. Have you been to our website? Visit HoosierSophisticate.com and listen to our uncensored podcast. Share some laughs with us. Send us fan mail so we can feel warm and special. Buy our merchandise so that we can eat. Wear your Hoosier Sophisticate t-shirt at social gatherings and let the women approach you. Wear it around the office and get that big promotion instead of Ted. That's right. Screw Ted. Ted sucks. That's HoosierSophisticate.com.
In Africa, 5-year-old Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her must walk miles every day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom that expands their minds, and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses caused by dirty water. At World Vision, care about clean water runs deep. Deep enough to reach one new person with clean water every 10 seconds. Because every child, every person, everywhere deserves clean water and the chance to rise to their full potential. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk. And for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
I think really the worth in these psychedelics is simply that they allow you to triangulate upon reality. I mean, in other words, if all you've got is awake and asleep, you can't go far with that. But if you've got awake, asleep, and DMT as points, you can build a much more dimensionally rich model of consciousness.
Welcome back, St. Louis. Let's get your mind right with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU.
You guys ever seen Coco?
Yes.
All right.
Do you know what that's called?
Yes, it's called The Little. I don't want to do it.
It's called a grito.
Yeah, you're racist. Welcome back to Hoosier.
That's literally what it's called.
Welcome back to
That did
Hoosier
sound
Sophisticate Radio. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on YouTube, Mycelial Media. You can probably catch us on Twitter after Kyle bangs this all together in a sweet edited video that he's going to show on the Birds on the Black.
I'm not capable of any
All
of that.
right, none of that's going to happen, but it sounded pretty
Steve's
sweet.
for hire. He'll do it for you.
We got Kyler 416 in the building.
I like that.
That's his Twitter handle. He's one of the most knowledgeable Cardinals guys I have ever had the privilege of getting naked with.
Yeah, well, that's actually happened.
It has a couple times. We're in a fantasy league together. A lot of fantastical things happened. We got Craig into the league last year.
Yeah.
Everyone got mad at me. It was a different league than the one we were in. They're like, your friend's not paying attention every day. I'm like, yeah, he's not starting his pitchers every day.
Dude,
it was
fell,
bad though.
It fell apart. But I told
you had
Steve.
an offense for days.
I told
man.
Steve, I was like, dude, it wasn't even. I love fantasy baseball. It's just I realized that I'm not who I was.
I know.
10 years
I know.
ago.
I could see you
Like,
wanted to be.
I wanted I was in a
our
league
draft night
before that. Oh, drafting's my favorite thing. If I could just do fantasy drafts and then we just do like hypothetical, just let her ride for the rest of the year. Like that's my jam. Like let's just see.
You lost bad.
But no, just like I like that week to week setup. Like you said it on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's your deal. that's where you're set up.
You
like,
still wouldn't set it. You still would not set it.
Oh, I guarantee I would.
But
every day it got to be a lot.
Fantasy deals. Here's the deal with fantasies, and I'd like to thank James Carlton, State Farm, for
Fine,
bringing
good.
this.
Yeah, okay.
You can call them at 314
961
961 4800. That's
You can
the
do it.
number. You can.
You
You're
won't
not,
get a voicemail.
Never. He's a great person. I wish he was my dad. Let me just put it that way. We got awesome new commercials. Check them out. But I want to talk about some other fantasy things. Let's go back to the Game of Thrones. Who's your favorite character, Kyle?
Oh, man.
You're a big Throny.
Braun. I like.
Don't high five me.
So
He's the guy who wants. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
good.
I've got this whole thing with Game of Thrones. Like, I want it to end one of two ways. I either
Okay.
want
What do you
Davos and Braun to like have like the sexiest gay couple ever,
Oh,
and like
that's not bad.
and like 69 on the Iron
Onion
Throne.
Night, the Onion Night.
Yeah,
Oh,
see, that's what I'm
that'll
talking
make
about.
me cry. If you know what I mean.
I know, tears of onions.
Joy.
Yeah, or
Okay.
or just total dead wipeout everything.
Yeah.
That's my fantasy.
That can't
is the
happen.
White Walkers win.
That can't
It's not going to
happen.
happen.
Can that happen?
It has to. The way that show's been for 7
That's
seasons.
where I'm living. I think that's how. My take on that. I think that's how George R.R. Martin ends the books, but I think HBO tells the Hollywood story,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Come on,
They
HBO.
can't.
Don't do
They
that.
can't. Oh, God.
HBO's always kind of been on.
I
I
think
could see him ending a show like that. Bad guy wins.
I
or
feel
whatever.
like everybody that means anything dies, except for Tyrion, who's going to be like the king's regent,
Yeah.
and he's going to like take over. That's where I'm.
Okay. Is Bran the Night King?
I don't think so, but I think that's another thing where it might happen in the books, but I don't think it's going to happen on the television show.
Really?
They might not have the time to tell it.
Yeah.
Because that's such a
And it's my favorite storyline from the get was Bran's like
Who-
I like the idea of this time traveling, all knowing
So the three-eyed raven, the old guy stuck in the roots.
is no longer. Now Bran's
know,
the three-eyed raven.
But who was that guy?
Spoiler alert.
Did anyone
Like who he was before he
Yeah,
became.
who
I
was
don't
that?
know.
Do we ever figure that out? Who that was? And I like the little children.
Yeah.
Flip that
Children
off.
of the Forest.
Yeah,
That's usually my line.
Yeah, they have a real solid left arm. Throws about 75 miles an hour.
It's like green bombs.
I could see this kid being a real stud one day.
Just want to wrap him up in my arms.
Oh, you know what's funny? They are throwing fireballs
Yeah.
at White Walkers.
Yeah.
He's
Literal
out there
fireballs.
taking notes. So like, oh yeah, that little
Kid's
leaf.
got a 12 to 6.
Yeah, see that? That was a slider.
Children of the Forest. You got to extend on that chamber. You got to get all the way out.
Yes.
Listen, Bron, I just got to him. I'm on season 6, rewatching it. Just started season 6. Bron and the Sand Snakes, one of the sexiest
God.
moments in TV history.
I agree.
It's beautiful. It's just if you're not into Thrones, what are you doing?
I don't like.
know.
We're going to stop having things to talk to you about because here in 2 months, like it's all Game of Thrones all the time.
Hey, I'm gonna read
Bron's a
some.
great choice. Like Bron and Oberyn are my
Yeah.
they're my like 1A and 1-2 1B. You know?
Denman says, hey Seth, how are you? Singling Seth out. Don't like that. Ricky, our boy, says, what's up, ladies? He also says, I'll make you real sore when we do roll.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
That's my guy. And then Danielle, his betrothed, says, I'm jealous, Steve.
She doesn't have to
Wrap him up. Now my Friday is complete, says Heather. Oh,
Oh,
that's
so sweet.
God, be the source. Be the source LLC.
Hey, real quick, I want to
Check
jump
them out.
back because we mentioned him a couple times in the first part of the hour. But if you do go to Missouri Medical Cannabis Company's website,
Yeah.
momedcanco.com,
Yeah.
if you enter HOSO at checkout, you'll get 15% off everything.
Someone just
site
texted
wide.
me yesterday and 3 days before that.
We've
I
got-
keep tally
I
because
love
then
it
I
because we
tell them.
send Blake a bill.
Yes.
It's like,
Right? Someone
we're-
texted me.
You gonna Big Daddy or
This is
what?
my time.
You gonna pay me or what?
Yes, you are. Hey, surprise. Yeah.
Go to momedcanco.com, enter HOSO at checkout, get 15% off site wide. I could talk Game of Thrones.
Let's talk ball game.
I could talk Game of Thrones all day, but now I'm coming from a place of I don't feel like I've been here in a long time. Like I've started to get there last year, but now I'm kind of really out of the deep loop of the Cardinal knowledge. So I got some real basic questions.
You didn't
for
know Luis Castillo.
We have a commercial that runs here that says if we should be concerned whether or not Wainwright makes 30 or 31 starts. That was last year, but it's still running.
That makes sense.
Is he?
Is he?
What do you think? I'll take a bet.
Where does Adam Wainwright fit into the Cardinals pitching picture?
Nah, I don't know. Back to you, Gene, in the studio.
It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
might be 8 starts, might be 32.
I think his plan is they're going to use him at pitcher for a while, and if he makes it out of the season, then maybe we re-up it next year. Back to you, Gene, in the studio.
Here's what's going through Kyle's head right now. Let me go ahead and I will translate that.
Here it is.
Adam Wainwright's too old. I like him young.
That's it, exactly. Adam Wainwright
Ask me about prospects, boy.
That's why I went. That's why I went to the oldest veteran on the team first.
What's Johnny looking like?
No.
This year?
That was very. That was measured.
He's got a whole thing going.
That was measured, babe.
Meta deal. Yeah.
We got the guy that has all the knowledge on the Cardinal prospects. What do you think of the 38-year-old starter that hasn't given us a decent season in the last?
We joke around, but I will spend the next 45 minutes talking about Bartolo Colon if the opportunity presents itself.
He's one of the greats.
He's the best ever.
He's one of the great. How old is he now?
46.
And he's come back.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's trying, but no one wants to give him a job. He has so many illegitimate kids. It's like so many
of them got a good right arm.
They're all too old for me now. No. He's 46. He's trying to come back. He has illegitimate kids. He's been married like 70 times. The other wives didn't know about it. He's not Mormon or anything cool like that. He goes after it. All of a sudden there's
you.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. If I look like that, I'm working there. I'm trying.
When is that biopic happening? That'd be a great movie.
Listen, and he's a guy the Cardinals will sign in the middle of the year.
That'd be amazing.
Like, hey, man.
Get a little bit of inning relief.
Hey, and then like
maybe a pinch hit.
There's nine.
Yeah,
there's nine little bat boys run out, like all in Cologne jerseys. Like,
during the national anthem, the 9 kids run out and take the field next to Bartolo. It would be like modern Fernando Venezuela making a Cardinal debut, just like Fernando Venezuela did.
I'm a big Fernando Venezuela guy.
He was screwball.
Of course he did.
He was screwball.
Of course. So who am I looking for in the Cardinals pipeline?
Real fast, do we want to talk about Adam Wainwright at all?
Do we?
I was joking because there's a commercial that's running. I am genuinely curious. Like, is he a 6-man? Is he a firm 3 in the rotation?
Who's our 5? I'm so dumb. I don't know who our 5.
It all depends on what happens with Carlos Martinez.
You can't trust him.
Yeah, maybe not.
Is he banged up right now?
So what happened was both Mike Schilt and John Mozeliak said that it wasn't an issue of him working hard in the offseason. He worked hard in the offseason. What Mo was saying is that he might not have done the right type of exercises to strengthen the area that was sore. So he comes into camp and he's just not ready to throw. They're going to sit him for 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, they're going to reevaluate. So
get on.
But we say that, and again, I feel the same way. It's frustrating.
Well, let's figure it out now.
But how many times have they gone into camp and Chris Carpenter gets an extra couple weeks before he even starts throwing competitively, and Adam Wainwright, like this stuff's happened in the past. It's just that because it's Carlos following last year when he's been out, it ends up weighing a little heavier. So
he's loco, essay.
I'll tell you what, he's crazy. Apparently he posts on Instagram like he's in Paris, but really he's just in a hotel in like the Dominican or something like that.
He's a wild man.
Getting blazed.
I appreciate
he had that scandal when his Twitter feed blew up with
just with the porno, like with all the
some dirty stuff that I still get sent in the mail from ordering Girls Gone Wild in high school. Like they still think that the club card thing comes in the mail to my mom's house.
That's great.
And open it up and it's the most filthy. And one of them, I was like 1-800-Carlos. He's just sitting there by the chicks. And I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous, man. Allegedly. No, but I don't ever trust Carlos Martinez. I'm sorry. I don't get rid of him.
It's disheartening too because you got like all of these amazing prospects coming. They're going to be the next big thing. Like Alex Reyes. What do we got with Alex Reyes right now?
He's throwing, and they're going to give him an extra day in between throwing as compared to the other pitchers. But it looks like he's ahead of schedule. And that's the one fun thing here with Carlos Martinez. If Carlos Martinez isn't ready to go, it almost looks like Alex Reyes will slide right in. Mo said that the cap for innings with Alex Reyes this year is like 110 to 120. So that makes it tough. But I'd
like to see him start pitching in
I'd like to see him pitch 250 innings. Like just do it, man.
I hear you.
Just do it,
I hear you. So does
like,
that mean is Jack Flaherty the most sure thing in your rotation? Right
I
now?
think that the Cardinals would argue that it's we call him Miles Michaelis.
Oh yeah.
I think that they would argue it's him.
and then probably Jack Flaherty after that. But
everyone just forgets Miles Michaelis.
And he put together a heck of a campaign last year. He was an all-star.
I'll tell you who everyone keeps forgetting is Michael Wacha, and it's because none of us believe he's going to be healthy. That's what I believe.
He's got the stuff if he is.
He could very well, but he misses so much time year after year. He's put together one healthy year, one healthy season.
I just don't like his face either. Just looking at his face, just like
I'm a big Wacha
Texas
fan.
A&M guy.
He has super lettuce right now too.
I know.
When we were talking about Carlos coming up through the system, where I used to live in Springfield, one of the Springfield Cardinals executives lived in my mom and dad's neighborhood.
Oh, he would have loved. He would love.
It was great.
He would love Springfield.
It was great. Dude. It was really cool too because they came in 2006, maybe. I feel like
you were big on Tyler Green too. I remember,
dude. Well, that's it. Living in Springfield, you could not be big on Tyler Green and Colby Rasmus. Dude, Colby Rasmus was playing in the same league that Mike Trout was playing in, and those two dudes were like just hand in hand. Like Colby Rasmus was the best double-A ball player I'd ever seen in my life. Like it's a shame that it just kind of all fell apart, you know. But no, like but talking to my mom's neighbor, I was like, man, this Carlos Martinez, he's the real deal.
Yeah,
like, he's the real deal. He goes, maybe. He goes, but the one that we're all super excited about is Wacha. And Wacha came up and
blew through.
Was unreal.
Came from college.
He was unreal. Came straight from college, like right into
Texas
the season,
A&M.
right? Like,
well, he pitched out of relief after he was drafted, and then the next year he was pitching in June, I believe. I believe he made his major league debut against Kansas City in June.
And they're like,
NLCS MVP.
He's like, oh,
that was still.
He almost threw another no hitter. Oh man, Wacha's pitching again. Oh man, he took a no hitter into the sixth. I remember with that change up fastball. Just like people were.
I was like, I hope he never throws a third pitch.
That's insane. This guy, non-baseball guy, Craig Kohler. I'm sorry. I apologize for my host. So the rotation is Carlos if he's healthy, but can you move him to the bullpen without him losing his mind?
It worked out well in the second half of last year, so I think you can.
Can't get starter money. Is that the whole deal?
Well, at this point, he already has his money. You know, he's got
how long is he locked in for?
For 2 more years guaranteed, and then an option year. And I think that this year it's 11 mil he makes. And then next year it like bumps up high. I think it's like 18 mil, and then the option is for 18 mil.
Well, if he's throwing 180 innings, getting 180 strikeouts with about a 3 ERA for 11 and 18, that ain't too bad in today's baseball.
Yeah, and the bullpen's more important now than it's ever been.
Sure.
I think last year was promising. I like him better in the rotation just because it's the difference between 80 innings and 180 innings.
Yeah,
there's just more value in there, but the Cardinals also have some questions in the bullpen. So the way I look at it is this almost works out too well, where for 2 weeks, they don't even have to worry about Carlos. They can test their minor league depth that they have. They can see what Alex Reyes has.
Cardinals are tricky like that.
They are tricky like that. You only have to go a few years back when there was, who was it? It was like Shelby Miller, Jaime Garcia, and Carlos Martinez, like all competing for a spot in the rotation in spring training. Yeah. And what happened? I think whoever broke with the club got hurt right away, and that's how Carlos got in. It was something clever like that.
I think Jaime probably broke with and then went down because that's what Jaime do.
So something like that.
Jaime had some stuff.
Speaking of Jaime, he just retired.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Really?
I saw that. Yeah. What is he? A couple weeks ago we were talking about that. He's not that old, but he got paid.
He got paid
in Minnesota.
Was it New York? It was his last year. Or was it Minnesota?
Pitching out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Hey man, he's like hearing Molina talk about him was pretty awesome because Molina's seen a lot of people and he was like, that guy's got nasty.
In the last 12, 15 years, or while he was playing, I thought he was the most likely to throw a perfect game out of anybody in the rotation. That was when Wainwright was winning
or give up 11,
19, 20 games. Like, you never knew what you're going to get. But if his cutter was like,
well, you talk real fast about Colby Rasmus and Mike Trout down at Springfield.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw Jaime Garcia pitch at Springfield, and he was easily the most impressive pitcher that I ever saw. That includes recently, and I've made more trips in the last couple of years. That includes Jack Flaherty. It includes, Dakota Hudson, anyone that I can think of, Sandy Alcantara. Two of my favorite prospects, Genesis Cabrera and Ryan Helsley. Like, he was his stuff was on a different level, and you always felt like he didn't know where it was going, and that panned out.
Sure.
But it was just so raw and so amazing to watch.
Yeah, backstory. When you saw Jaime Garcia too, you also had a Polaroid that you had taken of him from when he was like in 8th grade and asked him to sign it.
It came true. I saw you from the beginning.
I knew it.
I was shaking it the entire time. Like that.
All right, so we got Martinez if he's healthy, Flaherty, Waka, Nicholas.
Shake it. Sorry.
And who else? Just keep doing that. I'll finish soon enough.
Yeah, you will.
And then who's
Wainwright,
the fifth?
Reyes.
Wainwright.
Wait, or what are we doing?
We're doing the starting lineup.
Who's the five? Game of Thrones. I had already prepared myself emotionally.
We will. We'll get back to that.
My starting five is little Donnie Williams, 16-year-old flamethrower.
On a Vianney, he's got a real good. He's got a wide base.
Yeah, we're working on widening his base. No, so if Seamart is healthy, if Seamart's healthy, it's Carlos Martinez, Michaelis, who they're saying probably going to start opening day. Waka, Waino, and somebody who I'm forgetting. Flaherty. God, how about that?
Good.
Sorry, I got so sidetracked thinking about it.
Let's get in your wheelhouse and then we'll get back on Thrones. Prospects we need to be looking out for that we may not even know.
Yeah, the two that come to mind, the Cardinals will continue to use pitchers. Like they're just going to, that's the position they're going to be in. The two pitchers, left-handed pitcher, Genesis Cabrera, spells his first name Genesis, pronounces it Genesis.
I like that already.
Sure. He's a lefty, and the Cardinals have him ticketed like immediately for a bullpen role, but he's really impressive. So there's only been a couple pitchers at the minor leagues that I've watched that when you watch them, they fool the umpires. Now, the umpires of the minor league are trash. If you think major league umpires are trash, just watch some games in the minors. They're awful. But like you can actually see umpires get frustrated with themselves when they're fooled. And, Flaherty did it every once in a while. Alex Reyes used to do it all the time. Anytime Alex Reyes would drop on a curve, you'd see an umpire like stand back and be like, oh man, I really screwed that one up.
Reyes' first time in the league, it was the batters were like, whoa, he's throwing gas. And I was like, that's pretty cool to see major leaguers like, what's going on with this guy? Because you're like, is he throwing
Next step in
wild?
evolution.
A little bit of wildness there too. Yeah, Reyes can be a steed.
Oh God, yeah. And Genesis Cabrera is the same way. He's really skinny, has a really skinny waist, but he's built really well. And he kind of whips the ball a little bit. He works quick. All of his motions are quick.
I love that.
And he has, I do too.
Rock and fire, man. I love that when a pitcher.
Then guys will slow him down though at the plate, like they'll step out of the box.
But there's rules in the league now. You got to keep a foot in. Like they're trying to handle that.
That's true.
Bit,
yeah, that's true. 20-second pitch clock now that they're pushing in spring training.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that they said Major League Baseball can unilaterally just install it in regular season, but right now they're trying it in spring training to see how it goes. Yeah. But with Genesis Cabrera, he throws a fastball that when he's pitching out of relief can get up to like 98. It's nasty. He throws a slider and a curve. Both are very good and they work well together because they kind of.
How old is he?
He's 22.
Okay.
He was acquired for Tommy Pham at the deadline last year. One of the three players that the Cardinals acquired for Tommy Pham at the deadline last year. And his stats, when you look at his stats, he came through the Tampa Bay organization quick. Yeah. 21 years old, already at AA, and a second turn at AA. So he made AA at like 20. But what Tampa was trying to do with him is they were forcing him to throw a changeup a lot, and it hurt his walk rate. It hurt, his stats, just his stat line. He was still striking guys out, but he was walking too many people, letting up some home runs too, because the changeup is such a field pitch. He just leaves it right over the middle of the plate. And bad things happen even at the AA level. So the Cardinals, he didn't use it as much when he entered the Cardinals organization, and it took him about 2 to 3 weeks, about 5 starts. And once he got through those 5 starts, he was like a completely different pitcher. He was repeating his motion. He was working confidently and quickly, commanding his curveball, commanding his slider, using his changeup effectively against righties, which was really important for him. And the fastball was dialed up. He went to Memphis for the Memphis playoff run and was almost unhittable. He was unhittable this spring over in, I believe, the Dominican Winter League, which is kind of like the talent level of AA and AAA. So you don't invest too much into it. But he's an extremely gifted young man who I would think, Brett Cecil probably has a really, really short leash, and anything could really happen at that point. And he's on the 40 man. So,
and it's like, Genesis, I can feel it calling in the air tonight. Hold on. Yeah. So who else are we looking at?
No one. That's it. No, Ryan Helsley's a righty. He cutter, changeup, fastball, curveball. All of his pitches are pretty good.
Who's a bopper? Who we got down there that looks like Tyler O'Neill?
Oh God, no one. Well, so the boppers are far away. So Nolan Gorman was our first round pick, 19th overall. He's a left-handed power bat who can play third. Needs to get better defensively. But he has serious raw power.
I'd like to see another guy like that come through the system, man.
Yeah, there's another kid, a righty named Leandro Cedeno, and he's not really a prospect that a lot of people are talking about, but he might have the the
frame,
the most raw power in the organization. This kid hits bombs. Yeah, and we like it raw. If there's one thing that we like here,
sure, absolutely.
At Hoosiers,
the only kind of power.
Raw power.
Yeah, Hoosier Sophisticate is definitely raw power.
What happened to the shortstop that they gambled on? Was it a year or two ago?
That was Tyler Green. We just talked about
No. I'm talking like 2 years ago. Everybody passed on him. He's
Delvin Perez.
Delvin Perez. What's up with him?
God. So Delvin has, I guess if we can start 2016 gets drafted, HGH test, falls from top 5 pick to 23rd overall.
Right.
Hits the ball pretty well his first year, plays some good defense. Everyone's really excited. Starts 2017, has some attitude issues, gets in trouble for throwing equipment after striking out, ends up getting demoted, had a terrible 2017. He entered this year, and I think a lot of people were down on him. The short season leagues, the rookie level teams, they start in the middle of June. Their season starts in the middle of June. So he started at State College, which is in the New York Penn League. And his season started
New York Penal League.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if there was a penal league? Oh my God! I can't stop imagining.
I'm good.
We wear caps and sleeves in this league, son.
And he had a good, he played amazing from June 15th until the end of August. And he does. I say amazing. He's 6'3" and he weighs 104 pounds. He's skinny. He barely makes he doesn't make a lot of hard contact. That's really what his downfall is. But he was hitting 260 with a 353 on base percentage entering August 1st, and good walk rate, good strikeout rate, playing a great defensive shortstop. And then he had a terrible August. And I was told that there was a personal issue going on with him.
Get over it, pal.
That's right. 19-year-old kid.
Jeez, man. You got the world by the nut bag.
You got that $2.3 million.
I could say what I was originally going to say. I had to shift.
I think it's probably the same.
You shifted well, though.
Thank you.
I think it's probably the same. Probably the same.
No, you don't know what I was going to say after nut.
I've got a good idea.
Herb butter?
Yeah, no, I was going to say F word.
So Delvin Perez.
So
we know all about that.
He was terrible in August, and it really, really made his stats look terrible. But he played a really good defensive shortstop, and it looks like he's going to be able to stick defensively at shortstop.
Dude, we got the Jong up in there.
Well, that's what's so cool, years. Right? I remember when this kid slipped, I was like, oh, maybe we're finally going to have that 5-star, shortstop. And then all of a sudden, this Paul DeYoung kid comes and just hits 15 bombs in a month.
He keeps his back elbow up, just like my dad always.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
No, hey, listen, if you want to know how to hit, in the league, you get with a bunch of South City dads.
They'll yell
on a ball field comprised mostly of rocks and broken glass.
Yeah. Yell at them till
have a couple of cocktails before the practice, and as soon as your kid digs in, first off, you don't let your kid dig in because the first pitch. Buzz the tower.
And there's no singles.
Buzz the tower.
There's no singles. You're going too.
If he digs in again, you put it in the ribs.
Yeah. Oh,
just one time. I did it to my dad. My dad came in, he's feeling good.
Your dad beamed you.
He smoked me in the ribs. He let me know it was his plate. I backed off. I took him to Tater Town.
Did you?
I took him to Tater Town.
Oh, no.
Any bat flip?
I didn't bat flip because this was 1994 and we played the game the right way, Kyle.
And we're getting buzzed by your dad.
Yeah,
the ribs
we played the game the right way. My dad hit me in the ribs, and then I said,
"Very respectful.
Good show, sir.
Very respectful.
Good show, sir."
All right, so you are you can live anywhere in Game of Thrones land. Where are you living?
Dorne. It's got to be
my man.
Sunsphere. So you're a Sunsphere
oh my
guy.
God, yeah.
Okay.
We just got done. We started this by talking about the sand snakes. I know.
That's a good call. Okay, so you had to be in an arranged marriage with one of the chicks besides Brienne of Tarth because I know where you're going.
And don't say Walter Frey's daughter because
yeah, that got weird.
they're
quick.
lickers.
All right, who are you hoping they set you up with?
I refuse to say no to Brianna Tarth. Like, I'm sorry, I won't accept
for
any
him.
other.
Good for you. Okay, now you're betrothed.
I've got some pictures to share with you after the show.
You're betrothed to marry one of the male characters on the show.
Oh, Jon Snow, easy, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Not so easy. Not so easy.
Well,
really?
I think.
Khal Drogo.
I actually. Well, Oberyn.
Yeah.
You're so
Oberyn.
weird about Oberyn, dude. Get over it.
You were just.
I would.
You were just waiting.
I would.
No, Bronn. I think Bronn would be a gentle lover.
Okay, certainly. No, you think Bronn?
No, he would not be.
know.
He'd be the opposite of gentle.
If-
You know how I roll.
If you got to know him, I think you could have a moment like that with him. You know, like see a softer side of him.
Oh, he'd sing you a tune.
There's no way.
Maybe the
Yeah,
winds
you
of
could.
Castamere.
He would sing. That's it.
Yeah, like he's getting ready to go to battle. He needs like a
He's
real
the
emotional.
perfect marriage between a bard and a badass. I love Bronn.
Hey,
Mm.
come on.
No, I said a bard and a badass.
Come on, babe.
I've never been with a guy who
Good
didn't
on,
have
babe.
all his fingers.
Oh,
So Davos, right?
yeah.
Well,
okay.
he's got like you call that
First
two
knuckle.
fingers.
I call it first knuckle.
He's got 2 fingers total.
I call it first knuckle.
First knuckle. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do when you betray Stannis Baratheon. He's a man of his word.
He is. He's
Give me all
Stannis
your chips.
He's a man of his word.
Okay, so you can. What family you belong to?
Your family.
Okay. Besides being my illegitimate son, which
Oh, are you? Yeah, you're a bastard of the north.
you're a Targaryen.
Well, here's
Are
a better
you,
question. What if I was your bastard?
Yeah.
Like, what would the title be? Because if like Jon
Some
Snow, because
Snow.
he's from the north. Like, what would it be?
Sand from Dorne.
Yeah, your own Elgin world. What would it be? Would it be?
Oh, you'd be
Kyle Cannabis.
little. Oh, I was gonna say Snow is your last name, but that's not bad.
Oh, that's good.
Little Kyler Green.
There it is.
Kyler Green.
I like
How
that.
dare you, boy?
Guys,
What's
I
up?
hate
I
to do
would
this
take
because
care
I'm
of you.
having a blast and I could do this forever. We
I
should
would
do an
take care of him,
uncensored.
though.
We
I
should
would
do
like
an
to
uncensored
go on
podcast.
record.
Take care of who?
Him, if he was.
Oh,
my
I think you
bastard
would.
child.
You're that kind of dad. You're a great dad. And I hate to do this, but we are way up against it. We've got comedian Max Price joining us on the other side of the break. This first hour brought to you by James Carlton State Farm, 314-961-4800. Check out carltoninsurance.net.
Awesome.
Get a quote. He's awesome, guys. Missouri Medical Cannabis Company, momedcanco.com. Enter HOSO, check out 15% off. Kyle Reese, thanks so much for joining us. Let everybody know where they can find you, how they can follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me. You can find me or follow me
Whatever.
in the Central West End. My apartment is
There you go.
my Twitter handle is KYLER416. You can find me at Twitter. We do a show through Periscope that you can also find on Twitter on Sunday nights called Prospects After Dark. It's like this, but with a lot of bourbon and curse words.
Nice.
And it's just a really, really rapid fire. People ask questions. It's the audience getting involved. It's a
Cool.
blast. We love doing it. And I'm doing my Dirty 35, counting down the top 35 prospects in the Cardinals organization over at Birds on the Black.
It's awesome.
Check out Birds on the Black. I know you guys were pimping that a little
It
bit.
is really awesome.
It's awesome. So that's where you can find me.
Let's hear some comments before we go to
Oh,
it.
no.
Becky says, "Talking baseball makes me fire emoji."
Oh.
There you go, baby. Brian's listening. Darren Bubba says, "First time listening."
Bubba Henley's one of my guys.
Did not say anything after that. Just said, "I'm
here.
listening.
I'm here. Is that enough?
Not enjoying, not hating it. We're up against it."
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this first hour of Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. We will catch you on the other side of the break. You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has a dream in his eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands.
A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
That's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MomedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MomedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MomedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it. I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding. Google it.
Root that for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side. James Hardy boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
A diamond is forever. You know what? Fuck that. A tattoo, that's forever. A piece of art that represents something you're passionate about, a loved one, a memory, or maybe just some really cool design you want to be part of your body for life. Stop by Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove and let one of their artists take your idea from your heart, soul, and mind and bring it to your skin. From the drawing table to the application itself, these artists hit a home run in every aspect of tattooing. Any style, any size, color, black and gray, doesn't matter, they got you covered. Got the itch to get inked? Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com. Tower Classic Tattoo, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove.
Listen, insurance is not something you want to gamble on.
Yeah, what my associate's trying to say is that James Carlton State Farm is really cool. You're not even going to believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along on the road with your family, and you're driving along, patch of ice, can't quite stop, boom, you bump into the guy next to you. James Carlton's got somebody out there ready to take care of you 24/7. You call them at 314-961-4800. Now, here's what happens with the other guy's insurance. You're driving along, kids are in the backseat. Daddy, I got to go to the bathroom. Not now, damn it. Ice. You can't stop. Here comes the adjuster. Adjuster gets out. He says, oh, my God. New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies. To me, it just doesn't make much sense.
Guys, check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk, and for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
Technology has evolved so quickly that the people running capitalism from the top no longer understand the tools that are necessary for it. They have to pay guys with ponytails and piercings to turn on the machines every morning. And that must be very terrifying to them.
Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate Radio here on WGNU 920 AM, WGNU920am.com. You can get the podcast anywhere. You can listen to it. It'll probably be up around Monday. I don't know, whenever Seth gets to it. He's a busy man.
I'm going to try to do it sooner.
I got a lot to do.
He's got a lot to do. He's a busy man, but you can find our podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts, except for Spotify.
There's one
except
show.
for them, because I won't do it.
There's one show on the station. It's hard to
There's
do
two.
everything. It's hard to do everything.
I'm not
guys.
kidding. There's two. That wasn't a joke. There's two.
We're joined here in studio by a local comedian, which is, we're taking your thing, Wall. We're taking it.
Yeah.
All
Forget
right.
you guys.
We came at you in the first hour, gave you
You
all of our
suck.
praise. Well, now you can sit here. Now that we've got you all buttered up, you can sit here and you can appreciate while we talk to the up and coming stars of the St. Louis comedy scene. Today, we are joined by Max Price. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming
I
in,
like
man.
the fake applause. It's
It's real as it gets.
the
It's a
biggest
live
ego
studio
boost I've
audience.
had all week.
No, if you had real people in here clapping, that would be as real as it gets, Seth. You wouldn't have to record.
I kind
it.
of wish we were like whatever that show is, Good Morning America. We had like people out just
Yeah.
holding up random signs.
I did that. That's how I got my start. You know that out here.
I saw you Sunday morning.
Out here. Sunday morning? This last Sunday?
No, it was like
No
a
one
couple
was
years
supposed to see
ago.
me.
You
No
came
one's
out on a
supposed
Sunday.
to
We have a
see me.
guest.
We do. Max
Yeah.
Price, what's going on, man? Are you a St. Louis local through and through? I mean, born and raised.
No. I moved here like 10 years ago, but I've lived all over the country, really. California, New York, Indiana, Arkansas, and here.
That's pretty
Wow,
sweet.
shit.
Right on.
Which actually is I found really funny about the title of the show, Hoosier Sophisticate, because there's literally only two places in the world that you could use that name that would make any sense, but it means two completely different things. Because
sure.
in Indiana, you're just like, yeah, I'm from Indiana, I'm a Hoosier, but here it's like, oh, I'm a Hoosier. You know, so
He gets it. Yeah.
You get it. These jeans would make perfectly good shorts. Hand me those scissors.
when we first moved here, my mom was livid about the fact that was a derogatory term.
Sure.
Because my mom was born and raised in Indiana.
She's in Indiana.
Yeah, and
She's
so
a scab.
so
She
like
tried to steal our jobs in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
right.
that's the
I know. So we moved here, and like she was someone kept referring to someone as a Hoosier, and she was like, what do you mean? Like why?
Indiana?
Like she was like, you're saying. You keep saying that like a bad thing, like so they're from Indiana. They're like, no, a Hoosier, you know, like a redneck. She's like, that's not what that means. Is that what that means here? Screw you guys.
So in Indiana, are there like well-to-do people that like dress nice and go to formal events? Like, yes, I'm a Hoosier. I'm
Yeah,
from
for
Indiana.
sure.
No.
Really?
You being from Indiana, you're
That's
a
just
Hoosier.
what it means.
You
That
are-
just
okay.
means like that's like being
a Hoosier
What's
state.
up?
It's like if you're from Oklahoma, you're a Sooner.
Just
Yeah,
means
it's
if you're
just-
from
okay.
Indiana,
Yeah.
you're
I gotcha.
an idiot. Okay, that's what it means.
That's what it means here.
Well, that's the we tried to take like the pride back into it, but then I looked it up on Urban Dictionary, Hoosier, and it's like it brought race into the deal, and I was like, ooh, should we?
did.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh,
You're right.
Well, it's towards
Yeah.
white people though. So
Yeah,
we
we totally looked
maybe like, oh, I'm offended. Like, okay, cool.
We can make fun of us.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
when other people do. Like,
Excuse
I
me,
don't
I
like-
have family in Indiana, and I am allowed.
I'm Greek.
That was a hard R on that cracker, sir.
No, but
Hoosier,
like, I did
actually.
look up the etymology of it, and it does. They people ask, a few times. I think when we had Sam Lyons in here, he's from Mississippi. He's like, can you explain it? Like, I don't get it, And we grew up in South City, St. Louis, and like it was just for generations, it was this super derogatory thing. And when I moved away from St. Louis, like it almost became this
derogatory that much.
Well,
though.
it wasn't so much derogatory as it was just kind of
You're just like, look at that Hoosier over
describe
there.
That's literally derogatory. That's you just proved our point.
Not when you're on the end of it, though. You have to look at it differently when other people are calling you.
But my
Hoosier
buddies
the
and
whole
I,
time.
we would always kind of laugh and be like, "Hey, man, we're just proud Hoosiers from South City, man."
Yeah.
Like, that's and it did kind of take on this whole other thing. When you're from the neighborhood, you're like, "Yeah, okay."
I just thought that's who
think we're
people
Hoosiers.
were.
Like, we're Hoosiers, man. Cool. We're proud to be Hoosiers.
And your mom's going around to everyone like, "Hey, Hoosier!" Like, just like saying to everybody, like, "Oh, that's a thing."
There
here."
was an extended, in our little family tree where someone was like, and there he is being proud to be a Hoosier. And I'm like, well,
who you?
Yeah. Just kind of talking about like, they think that that's like a source of pride. And I'm like, I'm doing it.
Let's go on a float trip.
What are you doing, Sally? Nothing. Do you have a radio show? No, you don't.
Does she? She probably
She
could.
does.
She could get one on WGNU pretty
She
easily.
she saw most of her success in the 80s. She wore big red glasses. You might remember her.
Sally Jesse Raphael?
That was her.
Oh,
That was
I
her.
like her.
That was
I like
her.
her.
Yeah,
She fought the good fight.
Yes, she did.
For a long time.
All right, Max, if you had to do a Mount Rushmore of comedians that you like off the top of your head, on the spot.
Off the top of my head. Well,
My first two are super easy. Go ahead.
Nate Bargatze, John Mulaney, Bill Burr.
Oh,
and I guess I would say Dave Chappelle. Yeah, I'm
solid
guessing.
list.
We share two. We share two
What
out
was
of
the
four.
first name there that you said?
Yeah.
Nate Bargatze.
I don't
He's
think I've ever seen it.
okay. He's super underrated, but he's my all-time. Oh no! Actually, dang. Wait.
You get an
Can I
honorable
add it?
mention. You can have an honorable mention.
Dude, Gary Goldman is absolutely probably the best writer in comedy today.
You forgot Dane Cook.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh,
no.
I see what you've got yourself into.
We're
know
not
comedy,
15-year-olds.
Okay? We know comedy, all right?
No, I left him out on purpose. No, Nate Bargatze is absolutely one of the best. He's I mean, he's probably my biggest source of inspiration for comedy. I mean, his delivery is so conversational and just it's so unique. It's just so like down to earth and so easy to relate to. He's amazing. A lot of people haven't heard of him, and I think he's one of those that if you're into comedy, you respect him so much, and he becomes an idol once you've really listened to him. Yeah, exactly. But like, he's not enough well known. But I mean, it's not like he's not popular at all. I mean, he's had a Comedy Central special. Okay. Yeah, he's got a Comedy Central special. He's got a couple albums on Spotify that you can listen to. But I mean, he's from Tennessee, and he's got that perfect, like, just enough of an accent to really make his material seem so true and relatable. But he doesn't just sound like a Southern hit, he's just
sounds like a Hoosier. Say it. No, that's
yeah. If you haven't, I highly recommend checking him out. He's one of the best, and he's one of those people who does one of the absolute hardest things to do in comedy is be hilarious while being like 100% perfectly clean. I mean, he doesn't talk. He doesn't say a single curse word. He doesn't talk about a single thing that you might like. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing like he doesn't even talk about sex. Like he has had a couple jokes about like maybe like being drunk and doing something dumb when he's drunk, but it doesn't even go into anything terrible out there. Like it's insane. Like that's such a hard thing to do, is be squeaky clean and still be relatable to and funny to anybody. And he's one of those. So that's kind of why he's kind of my inspiration, is because that's how you know someone's a perfect writer, is when they're able to do that. I mean,
that's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, do you write as well? Like as far as writing other things besides your stand-up, do you want to get into like I always thought, SNL was a cool deal.
Actually,
like shows and
doing other forms of writing is what actually kind of like built into me wanting to do stand-up. I used to, like when I was younger, I used to write a lot of stories. I wanted to be a novelist, and I was already like really into writing, and then I discovered stand-up and realized that was what I wanted to do.
do you do like a storyteller type of stand-up, or do you
mostly
tell true stories?
Yes, that's actually almost exactly my style. I do mostly storytelling, and they're pretty much just a little bit exaggerations of the truth. But I mean, every story that I tell is based on a true story. Obviously, to work for the stage, you have to kind of add in little extra things. But yeah, for the most part, my stories are all like just real things that have happened to me. I talk about being a young father a lot, and things about my childhood.
How old are you?
Relationships. 25.
25.
How old's your kid?
He turns 4 in a couple weeks.
Good for you.
Wait, so it's 3 weeks. Yeah.
Lefty or righty? How's he throw? You gonna introduce him?
Got a good fastball? Is he got a fastball?
Yeah, he's a good prospect to figure out. No, that's a good source to come from for comedy.
No doubt.
Do you think that? How do you get it to relate to non-parents if that's where you're living a lot of times?
Here's the thing: you don't have to be a parent to be able to relate to kids. That's what makes kid material so easy to relate to anyone, is because being young, I automatically relate to a younger crowd. They just kind of get that vibe from me. And then I relate to an older crowd by talking about kids, because they usually have kids.
A kid.
Yeah.
And even if you're younger and you don't have kids, you're probably an uncle or an aunt, or your friend has kids. You still have, kids. Like, you don't have to be a parent to know things about kids. So it just kind of, it's a universal appeal, really.
That's pretty cool, man.
I was a dad at 21, man. I was the same exact. I had my first son when I was 21 years old. I would totally love to. The funniest thing that ever happened was after that pregnancy, like our first date night, me and my son's mom, we went and saw the movie Knocked Up. With
Great, we're gonna get about a 5 minute.
No, we're not. We're not.
Story.
What
here.
it is, no, but after that, like reliving the hilarity of the pregnancy experience,
sure.
It was we laughed so hard after 10 months of pregnancy. Like, it was our first night out, whatever. Like, we laughed so hard because it was so relatable.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I would drink comedy like this up. There's not a whole lot of stuff written for 21-year-old kids. You know what I mean? Like, most comedians kind of get there by having a bunch of hard experience. My favorite comedians are blue, it's like the older guys typically tell the darker joke because they've been beaten down by life.
That was the deal for a while in comedy. Like, you can almost shock people into laughing if you say, that's my whole shtick for real.
Dude.
Like, what dirty words can I piece together that people are like, oh my God, he said that.
The end of George Carlin's career was super dark, but like I think that's another thing. Like, as far as like
Big Dice Clay fan
talent goes, is like somebody like George Carlin, who did something a special called Life is Worth Losing, and it's super dark, and he's standing in front of like a cemetery, but he brings laughter to it.
Yeah,
like that's like an art form itself.
That.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Poking fun at our mortality, I love it.
Dark humor can definitely be art. It's when you just try to get a reaction solely off of being dark. It's like it
has to be a personality
thing. Creativity added to it. It's like, I hate when comics try to make their punchline just instead of making it creative, something that you weren't expecting, like a twist. It's just like saying the raunchiest thing that came to mind. And it's like, anybody can.
Oh yeah,
I love how much you hate Steve right now.
Yeah, it's hack comedy. I get it. You're an Amy Schumer fan? Yeah, I figured I would marry her.
What?
I'm joking. I don't.
Why?
I'm just joking.
Why?
She's rich.
Do that.
Oh, there.
Have that going for me.
And I mean, okay, so her first like big special, mostly sex stuff, which a lot of it was like, yeah, it's like that, kind of stuff. But there are a decent amount of jokes in that special that were actually done cleverly. That's like, you can still, just look at, not to compare the two, but Dave Attell. He is so raunchy, so dirty, but he is a genius. Mm-hmm. He is, brilliantly creative.
He's awesome.
But that's the thing, is that you can be like Dave Attell, or you can be like Brian Regan, who,
super clean.
That's another guy that like just super clean and just kills you.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there's no one way to do comedy. It's just like any art form. It's all subjective. Nobody is gonna, not everyone is gonna like one person. Everyone's gonna have haters, but it's like, there's no one way to do it. As long as you're being creative, there's no subject that you can't make funny. There's so many ways to go about it.
So what's your favorite thing about like doing comedy? You like putting on a show? You like getting like do you have a bunch of friends that you typically go to for a show? Like, you put shows together and call up 4 people that you know, or?
So for my show that I produce, I would say it's tough because my show is different in the sense that a lot of showcases will have, like 7 or 8 comedians doing, shorter amounts of time. Mine is like a real spotlight on just a few select comics every month that are doing a feature's worth of time, which is about like 25 minutes. It's me and 3 other comics doing 25 minutes. And the hard part is that there is a whole lot of amazing talent in St. Louis. There really is. It's very highly concentrated with great writers, very unique styles. And when you're only doing 3 comics per month, it takes a long time to go through the rotation because there's hundreds of comics in St. Louis. I mean, I don't think people realize, and that's not even that much for most, cities. I mean, if you go to New York or LA, there are thousands and thousands of comedians, or at least, quote unquote,
people trying their hand at it.
People trying to, make it. But that's the thing. And then on top of that, I also have some really awesome comics from around the country who hit me up all the time to be booked. I mean, my show's already booked a year in advance.
Really?
Because there's so many, and I have to reject a lot of.
Oh, is
it bad? Should I?
Good for you. I could just hear the vitriol.
There's comics that I would love to have on the show more often than I do, but there's only so much room.
Yeah, sure.
And there are, I mean, if it's like down to like the anniversary show or my birthday show or something like that, there are definitely those comics that I'm like, I can 120% guarantee that they will absolutely destroy and make it a huge event, so there definitely are those comics, but that's the thing is that, every crowd is different. There are times when there's some comics that I've booked that I was like, ooh, I don't know how they're going to do, blah, blah, blah. And they absolutely, just demolish the place. I mean, just every single joke is just crushing. And then there's comics that, I always see kill, or like they sent me, if they're from, a different state and they sent me a video and they just destroyed it. And I was like, oh man, this guy is going to absolutely demolish. And then they just like bomb. And I'm like, man, it's just, you never know, because every crowd's different. It's a subjective art form. You never know how it's going to go. And even if it's a comic who generally does awesome, there's still going to be crowds that just aren't feeling their style. It doesn't mean they're a bad comic. It just wasn't the right niche group for them.
All the greats talk about getting heckled and booed off the stage at some point. I think it's like a rite of passage for a lot of comedians.
Even the best comedians,
they're fearless,
still bomb. Even the household names still bomb to this.
They talk about working
day.
on their craft so much. That's what I didn't realize. Like now that Joe Rogan's so vocal about how they go to the Comedy Store so often to just be like, okay, I'm working out this joke, working out for weeks, months. You don't really think about that when you're watching the Netflix special.
Exactly.
Is that something you would like to, a 5-year plan? Are you looking to maybe do a special? And could you do an hour?
Who doesn't want to do that? I mean,
I want to do that. I haven't even been on stage.
Everybody's.
Or would you rather write a movie or something?
Nobody's like, no. I'm one of those. I've really centered it. A lot of comics really like to branch out and do improv and also do sketch and also act and blah blah. I really personally have no interest in anything but stand-up. That's the only thing that really calls to me personally. And I enjoy watching those other things and I respect it and I love it. It's just not personally something I take enough interest in to take any time away from stand-up. It's just, that's really my thing. But yeah.
Right on, man. So you talked about your show. It's a monthly deal.
Yeah. So the Best of STL Showcase is a show that I produce at the Funny Bone in Westport Plaza. It's a monthly show. It is it's the highest attended comedy show in the city. It's been the highest attended and top rated and reviewed show in the city for a year now, actually. Yeah, since last March. So
that's when you cue the fake applause.
Sounds like
integrity. That would have been a great time.
It's over. You had your chance.
The crowd's they were asleep.
We've been voted the best Friday night.
Well, we just talked about
the best show called Hoosier Sophisticate.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's awesome.
But it's a great time. I think it's one of those. It built up a lot of popularity in the sense that, well, for one, the hard part about it is that it's always on a Wednesday. And that's a tough day to get people to come out, but I always give everyone an opportunity to see it free. Yeah. And so we bring in a lot of people who don't often go out because to shows like that, because a lot of times they're paying $20 a ticket. They may not have money for that, or after paying that, it's like they didn't have money for the babysitter or whatever.
Sitter on a Wednesday,
and so like a lot of people will come out because they're like, oh wow, I can go out and see something and not have to spend everything all that I made today. So it's a very cheap, fun date night, especially like for like college kids and stuff who don't have a lot of money to go out, but they still want to do something fun. And they come out and they can, my name is like the password to get it. I also dish out like just like tickets all the time and stuff, but like my name is the free entry password for the show. So like you go up and be like, hey, Max Price has free tickets for us. Then cool. Just come on in for free. Nice. And so, but here's the thing is that like a lot of times people will, when they come to see a free show, they're thinking like, all right, if they're not even charging us, it must not be worth much. We're just going to come and support local, whatever, blah, blah. And then it's crazy the amount of times that people who didn't know what they were coming to see came up to me after the show and they were like, wow, we came to see because it was free and we thought we were just supporting some local artists. I had no idea it was actually like this insane, like huge production with like amazing comics. I mean, they were like, we were laughing the whole time. And then we just, built up a fan base of regulars. So, I mean, we have a huge amount of regulars come all the time. I mean, last month I sold out the club for the first time.
Right on.
And so, I mean, we have people coming back, if not every month, at least every couple months and stuff. And then, you also have those new people come in. It's just kind of built into a really amazing thing that I'm really proud to have built up from the ground.
You plan on sticking around in St. Louis for a while? Because this sounds awesome, man. I could see a little Second City type action. I would love to see like a group of St. Louis comedians, like how Chicago gets known for back in the day. Because we do have some funny people in St. Louis. A lot of trauma here.
There's not enough spotlight on St. Louis comedy, honestly, and that's something that a lot of people have been trying to change. I mean, you have all the people who help run the Flyover Comedy Festival happening for a couple of years. I mean, that's the first festival we've ever had. And, it's gotten a lot of recognition to some amazing comics. And I was part of it both years and that it's happened. And, people are really, really trying, but I don't know. It's just because it's always been considered a flyover area which is specifically why they called it that, but the whole point is like to kind of backlash against that whole idea of us being a flyover state, especially for entertainment. I mean, in every art, there's amazing talent in this city. I mean, if you really look, search it out, there are some amazing photographers, graffiti artists, dancers, models, comedians, musicians,
Friday night radio shows.
Hell yeah. It's insane. I think St. Louis gets so overlooked in every art form. There's really so much to be seen here that's not really, and that's kind of what I do. So if you check out my Instagram page, at Max Price is me. I do something every Sunday. It's called Support Local Sunday, and it's a weekly post that I do where I take a different artist. I try to keep it as diverse as possible, use a different type of art all the time, and I spotlight and do a post about them and try to like get them more followers to be like, hey, this is a really awesome artist in your area. Follow them, check out the awesome stuff they're doing. And it's kind of like I have a My Story highlight just like specifically for that, so people can go back and look through it and kind of like check them out. And so
that's huge. That's huge
I've been
for the region.
Trying to do, because it just it bothers me that like there's not enough. When you have tools like social media, it's like we have exactly what we need to share fan bases and let all these amazing artists in our city have more followers and fans, and we're not using it. We have we can for free and with very little energy and time help each other out, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do with that weekly thing. But that's awesome,
cool. That's cool to hear from an outsider too, because usually it's people in St. Louis like St. Louis is best. It's like, where you've ever been? They're like, nowhere. Yeah, but I know, and you're kind of like, all right. It's nice to see someone who's traveled a little bit, who's like, no, the art here is good.
Oh, it's great. It's just so highly concentrated, because when you go to you see a lot of great you see a lot of great artists in different cities, but it's usually one out of every like 100 or something like that, or just because they're insanely huge cities with so many people. Of course there's going to be that many great artists, but it's like you have the same amount of great artists with way less people. It's so much higher concentrated. I don't know what it is, but awesome. We really
the water up north near the radioactive waste dump.
Listen, we're way up against it, but
superheroes until we're like 30, we die.
I love it. Hey, you got me juiced because Steve and I talk about tentacles. We talk about this all the time, and we want to build the community up, man. And like that is inspiring to hear you say that. I have to scold our fans all the time about how easy it is every morning to hit a follow button. How hard is that? Just share.
I mean, we are open for any local artist to contact us.
The guy told you, he came in here. I promise you that was not scripted. You gotta get more involved with the local art, and you gotta give them your support. It doesn't cost you a dime. It just costs you 2 seconds.
I know we're up against it, but I wanted to ask you this too. Up All Night, Insomniac with Dave Attell. You mentioned Dave Attell.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that show? It's kind of old.
Insomniac.
We're 35.
Comedy Central.
Yeah,
he just goes out really late and just does whatever.
That was a weird show. It was on really late when I was a kid, and I remember being like, "What's this dude on? Like, this is great." And he was great. That comes from Andrew. Jennifer says Mitch Hedberg.
Oh yeah, Mitch, of course. Man, dude, he was an innovator. He started a whole new style of comedy, and that's the thing is that
many would argue Stephen Wright.
Yeah,
he kind of followed his
I put him in the same school. Put him in the same school.
Okay, yeah, that short one-liner. Definitely, but Mitch Hedberg had such a whole he took that unique style and then made his own unique version of it.
His cadence was so
better punchlines. Basically,
it was so But that's the thing is that but what people don't realize is like even the Comedy Central special that Mitch Hedberg did is like those laughs were actually edited into it. He bombed that show so hard. Like that's the thing. He is such a posthumous. Famous comic because I mean people did not understand what he was doing. They for sure thought he was just like awkward. They thought he was just like too nervous and like people could not get into
other people
because people weren't branching out into so many new styles yet. So they had a very narrow-minded view of what comedy and stand-up and writing needs to be like, and then he started doing this and people are like, I don't get it, I don't get what's happening. And then after he died, it was like that was when people were like looking back on what he did and they're like, wait, this is genius,
like friggin' sublime.
Definitely. Well, we got it.
Yeah,
we are way up against it. Hey, one last time, you got is the St. Louis Comedy Showcase. Can they follow? Can our fans follow that online? How can they find you on social media?
The Facebook page, the Best of STL Showcase, and then my Instagram is definitely one of the easiest ways. I do every month. I do like a contest where people can win merchandise and like gifts from our sponsors as well. But that's the easiest way. Max Price is me is my Instagram, or on Twitter, the same handle, the Best of STL Showcase on Facebook. You can hit me up. Free tickets anytime. It's a really good show. Definitely come check it out.
At Max Price is me.
Yeah.
At Max Price is me. What is the Best of STL Showcase?
The best of STL Showcase.
Best of STL Showcase. Guys, Max Price, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
This has been Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU. We'll catch you on the other side of the break, guys. You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands.
A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MomedCanco.com. Where? I get it from MomedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MomedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Jill.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it. I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding. Google it.
Roof up for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, boo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy, boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
Hey there, sophisticated Hoosiers. Have you been to our website? Visit HoosierSophisticate.com and listen to our uncensored podcast. Share some laughs with us. Send us fan mail so we can feel warm and special. Buy our merchandise so that we can eat. Wear your Hoosier Sophisticate t-shirt at social gatherings and let the women approach you. Wear it around the office and get that big promotion instead of Ted. That's right. Screw Ted. Ted sucks. That's HoosierSophisticate.com.
The good people of St. Louis City can be quite sophisticated.
Here we are in a universe that has nothing in common with us. We're just a sort of cosmic fluke. And therefore, the only hope for mankind is to beat this irrational universe into submission.
And at other times, pretty Hoosier as well.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU 920 and streaming live at WGNU920am.com.
A diamond is forever. You know what? Fuck that. A tattoo, that's forever. A piece of art that represents something you're passionate about, a loved one, a memory, or maybe just some really cool design you want to be part of your body for life. Stop by Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove and let one of their artists take your idea from your heart, soul, and mind and bring it to your skin. From the drawing table to the application itself, these artists hit a home run in every aspect of tattooing. Any style, any size, color, black and gray, doesn't matter, they got you covered. Got the itch to get inked? Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com. Tower Classic Tattoo, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove.
Hey there, sophisticated Hoosiers. Have you been to our website? Visit HoosierSophisticate.com and listen to our uncensored podcast. Share some laughs with us. Send us fan mail so we can feel warm and special. Buy our merchandise so that we can eat. Wear your Hoosier Sophisticate t-shirt at social gatherings and let the women approach you. Wear it around the office and get that big promotion instead of Ted. That's right. Screw Ted. Ted sucks. That's HoosierSophisticate.com.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk. And for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover. because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
In order to get the principle of a network across, I have to convey to you an idea which is extremely simple, but which is difficult to grasp only because we're not used to it. We are used to thinking as Westerners, as having a certain kind of language, and therefore a certain kind of logic that goes with it. We're used to thinking of the world in terms of the game of billiards. In other words, we are still thinking about our psychology, our bodies, and their relationship to the outside world in terms of what would scientifically be called Newtonian mechanics.
You're live with Stephen Elgin and Craig Kohler. This is Hoosier Sophisticate Radio, everybody. Presented by Mycelio Media. Let's chill, St. Louis.
Hey guys. Oh, that was so cool. I just wanted to say shout out to Integrity. Integrity's got some friends in the building. One of them's a kid. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Reese pops back up.
Guys, thank you for joining us. We got Max Price stuck around with us. We only got a couple minutes to let everybody know because Steve has no regard for anybody else's time.
None.
Ever.
This is going
to guys, this whole second hour, though, has been brought to you by Lifetime Roofing.
Roof?
There are guys. Check out lifetimestl.com. Google them. They do exterior work. They do roofs. They're former insurance adjusters. They know how to talk to people. You got a little leak. What do you know? You know nothing. Call people that know what they're talking about, that are going to take care of you, that aren't going to take advantage of you. They're going to take a good portion of your dollars that you spend with them and give them directly back to the community because that's what Lifetime Roofing is all about. Check them out. Google
Just go Google it.
Lifetime Roofing.
Steven.
Guys, I got a great article, shared it on our Facebook page. It's if you need a little extra cash, you guys need everybody needs a little extra cash, right?
Absolutely.
Sell an organ, right?
Can we get a little game show music with this?
You guys want to know how much these organs go for? We're going to call this game, How Much Can You Sell That Organ For? I don't think, did Integrity hear you with the music? No, it's cool. We don't need it.
Eventually, we pay somebody to play game show music.
Game show music.
There we go. Kidney. How much you getting a kidney for? If you want to sell your kidney, how much you getting a kidney for? And I will tell you, in America, they're a lot more expensive.
You guys
than they
go
are
first,
in China
and I'll guess
India.
$1 more.
Okay, Craig, you're up first.
I'm going to say
going for in the black market. Need a little extra cash. You got two of them. What you want?
Man, I mean, a kidney seems hard to part with. $3,500.
It's the most important. It's the most popular organ on the black market. If you want
That seems about right.
That's
$3,500.
I'm going low. I feel like $3,500 is kind of low for what I would take, but there's a lot of them out there.
Seth?
I'm going to say $1,500 a kidney, but price cut $2,500 for the pair.
Oh, you're dead if you just... Okay, you're up.
Maybe you're flipping yourself.
$24.99.
$24.99.
And we are going to go in at a staggering $200,000 for a kidney
man, I'm selling
on the
myself short.
black market.
No way, dude. They're farming those things in China and selling them.
75% of the
dollar.
black market organ trade involves the
children
sale
work for
of
way
kidneys. Sadly, less than a third of U.S. patients on the kidney wait list get a legal opportunity to save their lives. Something worth noting is that these organs cost much lower in China and India, where they range $15,000 to $62,000.
Oh, okay. Still getting
you just got 8 kids around you in a bathtub full of ice. They
Make
usually
a little extra cash.
They can pedal it out. Wait.
Ow!
Go to checking the cash. Screw that. Sell your kids' kidney.
They stitch you back up with a Nike sign.
Nice. Force of habit. Force of habit. And it comes apart in a year. Yeah, I bet it does. All right. Next on our list. This is probably if you find a dead body or maybe murder a drifter. Livers. What are you going to get for that drifter's liver?
Man, I got to think they're hard to farm. In America?
It's right by the gallbladder.
In America? Like, are all these numbers based on
matter? I
the
don't
U.S.
know how
dollar?
to
Are they based
price.
on
I wanna pop that.
Are they based on the petrodollar? Because you just showed a big discrepancy here.
This is American market, American black market.
Very good. A liver's got to go for
31,000 American lives are waiting for these.
Yeah, I'm saying a liver's going for easy 400K.
Okay.
Wow.
Kidney 200K. Liver.
I'm going less than the kidneys. I'm going to say $35,000 for a liver.
I'm gonna say 300 and a bottle of Chianti. Where's Hannibal Lecter?
$157,000.
All right, as the closest without going
it's
over.
a much more vital organ.
If your liver is healthy,
I
though,
won the bicycles for him and her.
you can live without part of it. Finding a black market buyer who will pay a compelling fee for a partial liver can sometimes
Yeah,
be
you can
difficult.
do because the liver is the only organ that can actually grow and
I'm talking about
regenerate.
Listen, okay.
As an
I'm talking
alcoholic, I
about
would pay a lot more for
farming healthy
for a liver. I mean,
farming healthy livers is a 7-figure business.
Have you ever skinned an animal though? Liver, you're getting in, you're getting out, bud. You're getting in, you're getting out.
It's not. It's about the value that it brings. I mean, the people that are paying for that. We're talking about Rockefellers
We only got 5
here.
minutes,
All right,
Mr.
go
No
ahead.
Time. All right.
We got more time than that.
Say, you find a dead body on your property. You harvest the heart.
if I had a
out of it.
nickel.
Yeah,
We've all been there.
Heart's big dough. Heart's
Okay.
big dough.
Heart. What are you getting for a heart?
$325.
Now remember, you got to snip ventricles and.
Are we talking about getting it put into, or are we just talking
No,
about
we're just
buying
talking
the
about
heart?
we're talking about getting one out that's salvageable, so you don't show up like an idiot and they're like, you messed this whole thing up.
$325,000.
When you say these, can you remind me what these organs do? Because I know what they are. I can't even remember how important they are to what.
This
to my
one's pretty
function.
important.
Yeah,
This
The
one's
waiting,
hard one.
the waiting
Oh, the
list.
heart,
How
the
many
engine.
how many
The
people
heart.
are on this waiting list? Also, I think will determine price a lot. Right?
Yeah, no, that's why I dropped that gem of knowledge, but it doesn't say.
Well, the obesity rate in America, I imagine the heart has got to be
Heart disease bad.
Yeah,
It's like the third leading cause of death or
man.
something.
Next to cannabis.
Impo.
I'm gonna go with 4. I think that's
Dollars?
probably the yeah.
2 McChickens.
You're really not good at this game.
$400K?
I said 325.
325?
I'm going $250,000.
$119,000.
Really?
This is
You said 4. Technically, he got closest without going over because he never specified. Yeah, $4.
These numbers are ridiculous.
I know,
That's
you're
the
losing
damage
his
on a
mind
heart
right now.
You're losing bad. All right, let's say you accidentally kill a hooker again. You're harvesting her corneas.
Let's say that. Yeah.
You know what they say?
Allegedly.
Her corneas.
When you kill a hooker, might as well harvest her organs.
Listen,
Hey, we
she
have
has-
a child one.
She has beautiful eyes. You harvest them corneas, boy. How much you gonna get for a nice set of corneas? Think that movie with
For the
Mission
pair?
Impossible.
Are they
For the
still
pair?
dilated from the meth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the pair.
Meth is extra. It says meth is a little
okay.
extra.
For the pair or for one?
This says a pair.
Okay. I'm 75K.
60K.
100,000.
50K. So 28 or 48, 800. So
You know what? I'll bet they're 30 and I. But if you buy the pair,
They're
you get a
24,
you get a
$400 and
$2,200
I.
discount, or
Yeah,
$1,200
you probably get a
discount.
price cut there.
For sure. Those are easily 30 and I.
yeah, I think about that movie.
They're trying to move some product. They love it when people buy in bulk.
Movie with Tom Cruise where he's got to get the new eyes. It's
How
in
about-
the future. It's in the future, and he's a
Remember when
cop.
Vin
Even the
Diesel-
black market has a Costco.
Minority?
Minority Report, one of the greatest movies of all time. So
Oh,
that's
is it really?
Good movie.
So guys, if you want to sell your organs,
Hey,
there you go.
Can we do a turbo version? Speaking of watching movies.
Who won that?
Oh, kill that music! Kill that music right now. Integrity.
Kill it.
Guess what?
We like movies. So do we.
He plays this one, and I always
You
leave
like
it.
internet. So do you. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too.
What are you watching?
We're gonna have to drop the tempo on that clap.
No, just real quick.
I'm watching a lot of stuff on television, and one of it is Game of Thrones.
I
I'm
know
sorry,
that.
that's all I've been
Is
watching.
that all you've been watching?
Yeah,
I've watched
you go.
enough
You
for-
go.
I've
I'm
watched enough
sorry.
for
Go.
all of us, I
Go.
think.
You do it.
I've been on the
You
documentary.
do the thing.
Guys, Quincy Jones. Are you familiar with Quincy Jones?
Yeah.
Quincy Jones seems like he was attached to everything.
Sign a declaration.
Everything. Yeah, he was the third signer
Yes.
after John Hancock and Thomas Jefferson. It was then Quincy
Jones
Yeah,
Adams.
Yeah, for sure. No, Quincy Jones, like for me, I was born in 84, right? He was involved in every big R&B music. He was Dude, I had no idea.
Yeah.
He's a jazz.
Michael Jackson?
He's
Did
on
he
the
have-
Mount Rushmore of jazz.
Thriller?
Dude. Yeah, Thriller.
Yeah.
But dude, here's what I didn't know. First off, it's a great documentary. It's called Quincy. Okay. And he was Frank Sinatra's band leader for 40 years, dude. Best friends with him.
Really?
Still wears Frank Sinatra's ring. It was like, you remember Supermensch, where like everybody knew the guy? Quincy Jones is that guy.
Oh, yeah. I
He's
love
like the godfather, dude. Everybody that's anybody in the entertainment industry, they look to Quincy Jones like he's their dad. And it was awesome. Check out Quincy. It was really neat. That led me down a rabbit hole to the two killings of Sam Cooke. There's a lot of great music documentaries on Netflix right now. So I'm not going to give you all of them, but
I did watch a movie.
What'd
I
you watch?
watched Couples Retreat on HBO, and I was like, I hated this movie at first, and the second time I hated it a little less.
Who's in it?
Vince Vaughn.
Oh,
who I'm
Jennifer-
not a fan of.
Jennifer
at
Aniston, maybe, or
all.
no? Or
No. A lot of beautiful women. The chick who was in the movie that was, I don't know.
Is Jon Favreau in it?
Yeah, he is.
Oh
Yeah, he is. But I watched it a second time and just it was on in the background. I was
Yeah.
like, it's got some decent one-liners in
Okay.
there, but I don't know.
Couples
I don't know.
Retreat. Max,
I
you watched
watched
anything?
the
Any
whole
stand-up
thing.
specials anybody needs to watch?
Stand-up special is Ray Romano's new Netflix special is actually
Really?
like surprisingly awesome. It's so good. That was well timed.
I will watch that.
It's like that. I was just saying off air that normally when a comic who was big like 30 years ago hasn't done a special since comes back, they usually like keep that same like corny style from back then and don't modernize it at all. And and it's usually like pretty lame. But Ray Romano was like he killed it. It was so
fresh,
good.
yeah.
It was. I was so surprised by how funny his special was. It was so good. I guess if we're talking about like dramas, like one TV show that I love is Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
So good.
I
Man, that is
started
so
the
good.
first season a long time ago and I liked it. I just never
Yeah,
revisited it.
it's
Maybe I need to go
killer,
back
dude.
and check it
Cillian
out.
Murphy is Cillian Murphy, dude. He's so underrated. He's such a great actor.
He's a scarecrow in
Yeah,
Batman Begins.
exactly.
He
Red
is
Eye.
Unreal.
Yeah,
man.
he's an amazing actor.
He's an actor.
So underrated.
You don't know I don't know his name because he just it consumes whoever he's becoming in the movie, and he always kind of plays a different little role. Like he's intense.
Yeah. He has a weirdness. Like, isn't that like a fiber or something? Like psyllium? Is that like a one of those like fiber drinks or whatever? That helps you
what?
poop? Psyllium.
Uh,
What is that?
Oh yeah, I know. The vitamin drink or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
like fiber helps you poop.
Yes, dude. That's it. We got it. That's the buzzer that means you got it right. Cilium. Mycelium media. Shut up,
I was waiting
Dustin.
for it.
Shut up, Dustin.
It's a rough name to grow up with.
he made the best out of it though, man.
Real quick to go back. Did you
You don't have to say real.
were you ever yeah, I do. I have to remind you. No, but I just wanted to go back to that. Did your parents listen to like Motown very much, or is that kind of like, do they listen to Sam Cooke?
Here's the deal, baby. You know, I told you my cousin Heather, who we got booted off the page because you wouldn't let me kick out Bob Jean at first.
Catch me
Thank
outside.
you.
How about
Thank
that?
you. You will, because we drove together.
Let's go.
Right
now.
But
Really let's get out of here.
they were from Chicago, and every time we'd go to Chicago, they loved Motown. So
Yeah.
it was like that thing where we were
Just
listening.
listening.
My dad was listening to more rock. My mom was listening to more
Sure.
Michael Bolton.
Okay.
So then when we go there, it was when Supreme.
Yeah.
It was Supreme and Bernadette, like
Yeah.
with the Four Tops.
Sure.
So I loved it, and that's when I got the guitar out, and I was like, "Oh, this is
That's
life,
what this
baby."
is. Like, well, that's so Sam Cooke to me was just always like this kind of clean cut crooner, man. And maybe I'll tell that story. I'll tell that story to start the show next week.
A week-long tease.
A Sam Cooke tease for next week. But watching that, the whole deal was he was just a super clean cut guy, great smile, and he was a crooner, man, and just one of my favorite singers of all time. I had no idea his story, and it's a shame kind of how his story wasn't told. They didn't investigate his murder. Like most people even probably know that Sam Cooke was murdered. But dude, he was a seriously like he was hanging out with Malcolm X, and he was hanging out with Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali, and these guys were like February, Black History Month. Like it was a really cool, gripping documentary that I was like, man, I love Sam Cooke. And I had no idea that his life just ended like this. Like he knew too much. He was too powerful. It's cool, man. I think it's called The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. It is phenomenal.
Craig, it doesn't
Check
have to
out.
be Black History Month to like really.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But I'm going to remind you,
Sorry.
since I know it hadn't even crossed your mind, We're already what, 20? How many days are we in? Look at a calendar, 222
million.
22 days into a 28-day month, and you haven't mentioned it once. What kind of monster are you?
You got to disrespect.
I do it every
bro.
day.
That's what I'm saying.
I do it every day of my life.
That's
I
what I'm
live
saying.
it. I be it. I be the bee. Thank you.
I don't know. You do you do kind of look like one of those like really light-skinned black guys that like you don't know is black, like Stephen Curry or something like that.
Greek.
just like crazy,
Don't give him
just like the
that
craziest light,
credibility.
just the craziest light skin.
Guys, I had a whole
like
lot
you would
of fun.
say it and I'd be like, I should have guessed.
I'm such a tiny
I've had a whole lot of
penis,
fun
so-
talking about nothing with you. And
you.
Max, I have had a really great time with you.
Like he
I'll send you the
cares.
bill.
Guys, we're gonna definitely send us the bill. I'm going when it gets there. I'm going to sign Max Price said I can come
man,
here,
get him
and
for
it's just
free.
gonna give it right back to you. And I'm just gonna use my one get out of jail free card. Guys, we got a lot of stuff going on. Sunday is a great day. Come on out down to Tower Classic Tattooing, one of our terrific sponsors.
So I'll get tatted
We're
up.
gonna go back and forth between Tower Classic Tattooing and Parlor STL. It's Hoosier Tattoo Day.
We're Hoosiers.
If you sent us the art, we got it in the queue. Come on out. We're going to make a whole day of it. We're going to play some arcade games. Steve and I are still on that NBA Jam. No one's taking us off. We
Thunder
are the
Dan
world
Marley.
champ.
All
You can
day,
call
every
us the
day.
NBA champions. Okay, you can do that. You can do that if you
I
want.
will
I'm making
destroy
jackets.
anybody in Tekken 5.
Okay,
And
well, he's on the
not
record.
somebody who's just
He
gonna
ran in here to
smack
get
the
on the
piss
record.
out of the buttons real fast either. You got to
No,
know the combos.
button mash. If you can't beat button mashing, you're not that good.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
I'll button
End of
mash
story.
you.
Max Price, thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining
Hey,
us,
thanks
man.
for having
We
me.
had a lot of fun. Kyle Reese was great in the first hour. The whole presentation was brought to you by Missouri Medical Cannabis Company. You can go to momedcanco.com, enter HOSO at checkout. You get 15% off site-wide. If you need insurance and you don't call James Carlton, you're an idiot. That's all I got to say about it. Just call James Carlton,
I wish he was my dad.
314-961-4800. I wish he was my dad, too. And he's going to make sure that I'm sufficiently covered. If you got a little leak in your roof, maybe you want to change up that siding. Maybe you want some James Hardy board for siding. Lifetime Roofing. Check them out.
Just go Google it.
Just go Google them. Okay. Tower STL.
Tower STL.
No, Parlor STL. Tower Classic
Tower
Tattoo.
Classic Tattoo.
Come on down. Sunday, noon. We're getting tattooed. It's
Let's
going to
do
be
it.
so much fun. Going back and forth.
Friendship.
We can't tell you how much we appreciate you, Seth. I appreciate you.
I can.
Integrity. You always do a great job for us, my man. I love seeing you behind the glass every Friday night. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll catch you next week.
You're listening to WGNU St. Louis, operating on 920 AM and K295CQ on 106.9 FM.
Debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. If you're struggling with credit card debt, the first step is yours. Call Consolidated Credit now. Call 800-406-0046. 800-406-0046.